Wall Street is a whirlwind of suits, screens, and shouted numbers, a world of big money and even bigger egos. But every so often, someone comes along who breaks the mold. Enter Arthur Pilling, not your typical trader, but the fastest growing one, thanks to a secret involving clay. Arthur's name isn't splashed across headlines, but in the trading world, he's a whispered legend. They say he sees patterns no one else can, predicting the market's next move with uncanny accuracy. Some suspect a supercomputer or a secret informant. The truth? Much more charming and a lot wobblier. Arthur's office is a tinkerer's workshop, not a glass-walled skyscraper suite. His most important tool? A table covered in colorful clay. He sculpts the market's ups and downs, calling it his financial forecast-o-matic. This hands-on approach is the engine of his success. Arthur's story is about how a humble inventor took on Wall Street's giants with creativity and heart. We'll pull back the curtain on his peculiar methods and discover the secrets behind his roaring success. Sometimes, the best ideas come from a desire to make things better, with a bit of clay and a lot of imagination. So put the kettle on, and let's dive into the wonderful, wobbly world of Arthur Pilling. Arthur Pilling didn't dream of Wall Street. He grew up in a quiet village, building odd inventions in his granddad's shed. His hero was his granddad, who taught him that any problem could be solved by breaking it down. Arthur's journey into finance began by accident, inheriting a handful of shares in a local cheese company. The paperwork was baffling, but Arthur saw it as another puzzle. Instead of reading financial books, he shaped the stock's ups and downs in clay, making the market tangible. He noticed patterns. Good weather meant higher prices, new rivals caused dips. The market became a story he could touch. Selling his shares at the perfect time, he made a tidy profit and had a big idea. What if he could use his inventive approach on Wall Street? Armed with tea and modeling clay, Arthur set off for the city. No fancy degree, no connections, just a unique perspective and belief in his models. The city was overwhelming, but Arthur found a small office and got to work. He was ready to show high finance that sometimes the most powerful tool is a creative mind and a pair of hands. His journey was just beginning. The world of Wall Street would never be the same, and neither would Arthur. Arthur's day starts with his Wake Up Gently 5000, a contraption that opens curtains, turns on a lamp, and brews his tea. While others frantically check market news, Arthur enjoys a calm morning watching the city wake up. At his workshop, he heads straight to his clay table, the heart of his operation. Overnight, his info gobbler gathers data and robotic arms sculpt it into a clay landscape. Good news becomes green mountains, bad news forms red valleys. Arthur examines the clay, feeling for patterns and stories the market is telling. Charts are flat, he says. Clay has soul. He sculpts future scenarios, blending intuition with data. Only then does he use his Tradatron, point at a booming sector to buy, a crumbling tower to sell. His day is a steady rhythm of sculpting, observing, and calmly trading. No shouting, no stress, just a grand day out every day. For Arthur, the market is something you can shape with your own hands. It's a world away from the chaos of the trading floor. His method is as unique as his results, and it all starts with a good cup of tea. That's Arthur's typical Tuesday. And it works. Arthur's success is built on clever ideas and quirky contraptions working in harmony. The centerpiece, his financial forecast-o-matic, a living clay model of the market. Each color and shape represents sectors, prices, and even market sentiment. His sentiment sniffer, a brass trumpet meets computer, analyzes online emotion, feeding optimism or fear into the clay. Arthur's crumb-catching strategy focuses on overlooked companies finding hidden gems while big banks chase giants. His info gobbler hunts for these crumbs, and he builds detailed clay models for each. Risk is managed with his safety net. Every trade has a loss model, and if it grows too big, a flag pops up. Time to cut losses, no questions asked. This removes emotion and keeps him disciplined. It's this blend of imagination and method that gives Arthur his edge. The right tools, the right mindset. That's the secret. Even Arthur faces wild markets, like the day a sudden crash sent his clay valleys cracking and red flags popping up everywhere. Panic swept Wall Street, but Arthur remembered his granddad's advice: step back and figure out what's really happening. He made tea, then studied his clay model. Amid the chaos, he spotted a few steady crumb sectors. Boring but essential companies holding firm. Instead of panicking, he sold his losers and doubled down on the resilient stocks. It was a bold, calculated move, trusting his system, not his fear. As the market recovered, Arthur's strategy paid off handsomely. He learned that in crisis, a cool head and a solid plan matter most. The clay model didn't just save his portfolio, it proved the power of his unique approach. Sometimes the best move is to trust your process and stay calm. That's how Arthur turned disaster into triumph. And he never forgot the lesson. Neither should we. Technology has transformed trading into a battle with a giant invisible beast. For Arthur, tech isn't the enemy, it's a powerful assistant. His info gobbler algorithm gathers mountains of data, from news to satellite images. But Arthur makes the decisions. Tech just sculpts the clay. This partnership lets him see trends at a glance, avoiding information overload. He ignores the frantic noise of high-frequency trading, focusing on slow, fundamental changes. His clay models evolve with real data, not fleeting blips. By taming the tech beast, Arthur keeps his edge and his sanity. The machine does the heavy lifting, but Arthur provides the wisdom. That's how he thrives in a digital world and stays one step ahead. When new traders ask Arthur for advice, he compares trading to baking bread. First, you need a good recipe, a clear trading plan you actually follow. Use the best ingredients. Invest in solid, well-run companies, not cheap, risky bets. Do your homework. Understand what you're buying. Quality over quantity. A few good investments beat a basket of gambles. Patience is the yeast. Let your investments rise, don't rush or meddle. The market's noise tempts you to act, but Arthur says, stick to your plan and wait. Every baker burns a loaf and every trader takes losses. The key is to learn, adapt, and use a safety net. Know when to cut losses and move on. Don't let pride keep you in a bad trade. For Arthur, success isn't about genius. It's about patience, discipline, and common sense. Let your investments bake. Accept mistakes, learn, and try again. That's the recipe for trading and for life. Arthur's advice is simple, but it works. Bake well, trade well, and always have a cup of tea handy. Arthur's mind never stops inventing. He dreams of making finance accessible for everyone, like a junior trader kit with clay and a kid-friendly info gobbler. He's tinkering with a global mood ring, a wall display that changes color with the world's market sentiment. Arthur believes understanding market psychology is as vital as the numbers. He champions glass box tech, transparent, human-guided, not black box algorithms. His vision: a Wall Street where creativity and common sense matter as much as speed. Finance should be tangible, responsible, and human. Arthur's workshop is proof that invention and empathy can change the system. Every great idea starts small, and Arthur's just getting started. Arthur Pilling's story is more than financial success. It's about seeing the world differently. He turned a complex, stressful industry into something simple and creative. Arthur proved you don't have to fit the mold to make your mark. His hands and clay told the market's story in a way no algorithm could. Sometimes your greatest strength is what makes you different. Arthur built an island of calm in Wall Street's chaos. He reminds us, finance doesn't have to be scary or cold. With ingenuity and heart, it can be as fascinating as any puzzle. All's well that ends well, with a good plan, a steady hand, and a grand cup of tea, and maybe a bit of clay.